My first question would be to Dr. Purlekar. Sir, what will be the role of Russia in the post-Trump era? We see that Americans are more obsessed with Russia, and they want America to take hard on with Russia rather than with taking on the Chinese administration. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so just to follow up on what I was saying, of course, this whole issue with Putin goes back a long time because, the Putin rivalry, in a sense, with the liberal the presidential order in America goes back a long time. It goes back to the time when he came into office, his run-ins with Hillary Clinton, subsequently as Secretary of State, etc., etc. But as Dr. Nandakishore rightly said, if this becomes a US versus Russia face-off, then obviously while America feels more confident that it can push Putin into a corner, because in its own strategic understanding, it feels that while Russia is a strategic disruptor, Russia also is a kind of a bear who can be put into a certain box, unlike China, where the strategic appraisal is it's already a great power, it's already arrived, and it's someone with whom there has to be a grand bargain. So I see that the Biden administration will push hard on some of these investigations on Putin and Russia. They will also try and use Russia for domestic purposes to try and discredit Trump, to try and show how much Trump was endangering American national security by being a hawk with Russia. But the larger issue of whether or not they will take on Russia per se, or as Dr. Nandakishore said, they will go back into the bureaucratic way of punishing countries who basically engage with Russia. And this is where there is going to be the big question mark, where on Russia per se, but on third countries who seek to engage with Russia. For example, he talked 400. That is absolutely right. But even on other issues, for example, the Chennai-Vladivostok economic corridor, which India is trying to push deeply with Russia. India is also looking for a trilateral between Japan, Russia, and India to be able to push for greater stakes in the Sakhalin Islands. The Americans may actually make that a condition on India, that you have to go slow on this if you really want to be able to be part of the American Indo-Pacific framework. There is also a belief that Biden may push back against India's description of the free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. The word inclusive used by Prime Minister Modi as more like a kind of a sense of confidence to President Putin. So Biden may ask for certain conditions from India in terms of reworking India's own conceptualization of the free and open Indo-Pacific. But the bigger concern I have is whether he will cede ground to both Russia and China in critical stakes such as Afghanistan. And that's my bigger concern, because obviously it's clear now that this whole idea of bringing Taliban into peace negotiations has not really delivered. If anything, the violence has gone up. If anything, Taliban has got legitimized. And if anything, now they look the stronger side because they basically got a lot of their people freed without necessarily having to make any tangible commitments to a peaceful and democratic Afghanistan. So my concern is that the Russian, Chinese, Pakistani involvement in Afghanistan may tacitly get the support of Biden, because Biden would like to see that the troops come back home. So he wants some way to see that the troops can come back home without Afghanistan actually blowing itself up. He knows that making any commitments to India or trying to get India to make commitments to Afghanistan is not going to work, because India has a very clear red line, which is that it's not going to basically send troops into Afghanistan, nor is it going to have any kind of an occupational presence. So the bigger concern is going to be him not taking direct actions on Russia, looking to punish third countries, and also getting into some kind of a tacit understanding with Russia on critical theaters such as Afghanistan, which has a bearing on our national security.